Welcome back to Overlord, Anime Review Episode 22. Excuse me. This one I'm giving my final thoughts on the fourth season of Overlord. This season I really enjoyed reviewing. Now, like I said, basically when I started reviewing the season, this is the first of something new for Overlord. Well, aside from reviewing the light novels the past few years, this is the first new thing for anime-wise I have reviewed in 4 years. Now, I had also planned to review the short stories. Well, the audio stuff. I will probably list those in the future, possibly. But it will depend on when I get a chance to do it. Now, in the case of how the season handled the adaptation process for this season, it's 13 episodes, and they're adapting roughly 3 books. First, adapting book number 10, The Rule of a Conspiracy. Book number 2, The Dwarven Caster. And finally, book 14, though here it's referred to as The Witch of Doom Kingdom, the episode took its name as The Fallen King, which is basically the same thing too. Now, I think in the case of, if you want to think of which book basically cut more stuff than what was expected for the anime, you probably think, oh, was it book 10? No, not necessarily. Mostly stuff that was cut here was due to time. I don't think anything majorly important was cut this season. I like the previous seasons where they did cut some world building stuff. Here they kept pretty much everything in that was basically supposed to be there. I gotta say this season is probably the best adaptation since season 2. Well, they did adapt them out of order in the last couple episodes, but at least it was how they were presented in the book, how the events played out, which fine. I didn't mind the change of order per se. No, I didn't. But I did appreciate what the anime has done with this particular season. I think Madhouse themselves can basically give a pat on their back for a good job with this season. Now, the latest I've heard from the movies is at some point next year, we're getting that 2-part movie that basically is adapting books 12 and 13. These movies may not be an hour long, because the books they're adapting are long, really long books. Now, how did I know ahead of time that the season was going to cover not only books 11 and 12, but also book 14? Because somebody put on the Facebook page for the season that's what they're going to do. Where I was kind of thinking, based on the episodes, they might skip stuff, but nothing major per se. Nothing important or earth-shattering they just had to cut. I'd say 7% really well. Oh, one thing they actually did not show here, but I have heard, is that the uncle, the one who had that red armor, he actually does end up joining Ainz. They don't say it here, but he does end up joining him. And I've also heard that the Blue Rose Knights themselves are currently considered fugitives from the Sorcerer Kingdom. Yeah, they're considered sorcerers. That's basically what they're doing here. Yep. But I do appreciate a lot of the characters brought back previous seasons. Now, Gaz is straight out. Basically, it's not surprising he didn't come back for these because, well, he's dead. I like all the mentions of him and the flashback stuff. It's perfectly fine. It is sad we're not going to see the Royal Palace anymore because the country's gone. But this is just really good. And basically, here your books are good. 10, 11, and 12. 11 and 14. These 3 books are essentially season 4. Now, you probably were thinking, why the heck would the anime skip over adapting book 12 and 13? Excuse me. Because the thing with that book series, that those 2 books are, is that you just have Ainz, and Ainz is not the main character of those stories. It's mostly the new characters from the Holy Kingdoms that debut in there, and you could say possibly that I would not be surprised if, now, in case you're curious, though, do they include people from this country as a quick? Do they actually appear in Book 12? They do. As a matter of fact, they're ones I guess visiting the Nation of Darkness, aka the Sorcerer Kingdom. And of course, I have made my thoughts well known when it comes to the Empress's translation of the Overlord novels. And everyone knows and agree with me about this, that changing the name from Sorcerer Kingdom to the Nation of Darkness is an absolute stupid thing. They do change one group in here, which I'm not really offended by that. But what I'm offended with, aside from the title of the Sorcerer Kingdom, and of course I'm just held the Sorcerer King, is the creator of... Okay. The creator of Or and Mora, where they changed her name. Now, in the anime and in the manga, her name was Bokumonkachunga. In the books, for some reason, they bring it on Book 10, and Book 14, they refer to as Boiling Teapot. And I'm looking like, that's not her name. Her name is Bokumonkachunga. Now, I'm not sure if this is present in the first 9 books, per se. I have no idea. But I'm sure that it probably does. I'm not really sure. But one thing I also have high praise for the season is this. Including one of Albedo's sisters. Something that was absent from the previous seasons of the show. And they included it in. It's strange, though, they included a mention of an event that was cut from the second season of the show. It's almost like, basically, some parts of the season was basically either just paying respect to the second season or basically apologizing for probably the special effects they have for the third season of the show. I don't know. It just depends upon what they want to do with it. Now, I had heard the reason why they adapted Book 9 at the end of Season 3, because that was the first story arc, per se, the Kingdom stuff. This is basically the next step here. Now, yes, I do know there have been 2 more books released in Japan. I know that. As a matter of fact, there are currently about 3 more books that have been released. Well, overall, there have been 2 released in Japan. They're basically focused on Elfin Kingdom, and once again, it's a 2-parter. And then we have Book 17. So, you could presumably see another season for the show. Are we going to wait 4 years? I don't know. It's just going to depend upon Madhouse. I hope we're not going to wait there 4 years, because here's the thing. The first season came out back in 2015. The third season came out 3 years later, and this season came out 4 years after that. My best estimation is they're probably going to wait 2 years for another season. Possibly, but it all depends upon Madhouse. But I'm going to hear, and I'm probably going to go ahead and start watching Spy X Family Season 2 videos up. Yep, because basically I'm going to start watching the anime. Yep. Next video. Bye.